Hey everyone, so for today's video, I'm going to try this jelly gouache by HIMI, paint with it and share my experience. So this is a student grade set of 18 colors. Each of them come in these 30 ml cups in a jelly-like form, which is a lot of paint for the price I paid. There is also a blue color palette, which I wish was available in a neutral color or white. But it's alright because I anyways prefer glass over plastic for opaque mediums. But I think it's fine if you're traveling or you paint a lot outside. These colors look bright and nicely pigmented. So this was how it was arranged by default. So I'm changing it a bit. A little swatch test to see the vibrancy and its consistency. Now that it's completely dry, you can see the darks are not that matte. A little rose abstract study I did this morning. I'm using all the colors that I use in my usual palette plus the variety of browns and other colors. So I thought I'll paint a portrait with deeper, darker skin tones. So I'm just painting in the exact same way that I do with normal gouache. The paint consistency is quite different from gouache. It's taking twice, thrice as long to dry. So most of the time I'm just guessing my next color. This paint dries a bit streaky if I try to thin it down, and maintaining the right consistency is kind of tricky. Though the paint looks good and creamy on the palette, but it dries streaky. Be careful with how much water you are adding. So the thing I'm impressed with the most are the darks. Browns are amazing, keeping in mind that it's a student grade set. So inspired that I'm going to add more browns like burnt sienna in my palette too. since it stays wet for longer period of time, the paper gets uneven and stays like for a long time even after it's completely dry. It's really stiff when it dries, and also on the palette the paint gets really stiff. It's re-wearable, but it takes some time to absorb water. When I started with this painting, I was kind of skeptical and I didn't like it. But after working on a couple of layers, it was not that bad. Kind of started liking it. After a while, I gave up on the black completely. So because it dried and dried with this with a sheen, making it not dark enough, and I replaced it with ivory black. The first time I tried gouache, I tried to learn about the medium, and I've always heard that it falls between watercolors and acrylics. All this time painting with gouache, I still cannot relate with that, as it's a chalky medium that dries 100% matte, really smooth, which are not the characteristics of any of those. But this jelly gouache has some of the qualities of acrylics. Like the darks don't change a lot when they are completely dry. I'm only talking about the darks because the lights do change like a lot. They dry with a sheen and streaky and a bit stiff and sharp like acrylics, of course according to the consistency. I know there's this acrylic gouache, and that's a different topic, but it kind of falls between gouache and acrylics, but more on the gouache side. These paints are really good. The colors look sharp and better than some of the artist's great gouache. And just invest in a good ivory black from any artist's grade line to make the colors, the darks, more deep and rich. The lights are harder to mix, to get the right values with anything lighter than midtones. I have noticed that the application of these paints require you to be more gentle, as the paint below lifts off easily, making the things look a bit uneven, which I'm actually appreciating because I like variation and texture in comparison to something which is really smooth or flawless. The thing I don't understand is why it's in a jelly state. Is it just for fun to have a different product out there or something? I don't know. Firstly, I thought maybe because it keeps it from drying or something, but it still dries really fast on the palette. It is said that for convenience, the paint is in a cup form. How is it more convenient than just squeezing the paint out of the tube without dealing with a palette knife to get some paint from the cup and then putting it on the palette and wiping the excess from the knife and losing some paint in the process? I'll happily buy this again if they pack these in tubes. Summers are here and it's really hot in my country, in India. How am I going to keep this paint all wet and fresh after some time. I don't know, because I don't want to maintain these every day. Overall, these are great and I didn't expect it to be this good. I highly recommend it if you are a beginner or on a budget, but you'll feel a difference when you'll switch to gouache, because there is a difference. So that's all for today, and I hope you liked the video, and thank you for 4,000 subscribers. So I'll see you on my next one.